There's another universe. Please make some noise.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be doing our June TBR. I do have some that I've already picked out, and then I'm going to be picking from my little spooky mug. I love this coffee mug, but I needed a TBR jar, so this is what we're working with, and he is just so cute. It's like Snoopy as a vampire. It's giving all the Summerween, all the spooky vibes. So I think this is just really, really cute. We're gonna leave that here for now. And let's address the elephant in the room. My bookshelves are up, built, and organized. I won't be doing a library tour until my library is fully complete. I'm just waiting on a couple wall pieces. I'm still debating on what chair I want in here. So stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and jump into my June TBR. Starting off with romance. I have not been reading a lot of romance lately, but I want to read Love in Bloom. This is by Lucy Eden. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but I just think it's so cute. It says, for fans of B.K. Burrison and Sarah Adams comes a cheeky small town romance comedy about finding yourself in the weeds only to find love. From my understanding, she inherits acreage in Georgia. She's new to the country life, which I even want to be a country girl. I call myself a semi-country but city girl. As Emma soon discovers that the farm isn't exactly what it seemed. It doesn't sell anything, making her wonder if just how glorified petting zoo, or is it Dan is hiding something much bigger. With suspiciously named shops like 4 and 20 Blackbirds lining Main Street, it's clear that the whole town might be in on a secret. But when the property and the livelihood of the townsfolk is threatened, Emma must come up with a plan to save it, because when you farm around, it's a matter of time before everyone finds out. So yes, I know she kind of like, I think the next door neighbor is going to be the love interest. I don't know, it's super cute. It's giving me all of the summer vibes. The cover is gorgeous. So I decided, let's go ahead and pick this up and add this on my TBR. Then my last romance is Stuck in the Country with You by Zuri Day. I've been holding on to this book for probably about 4 or 5 months now, just waiting for the perfect time. And sadly, I'm not going to the country this summer, but I just feel like June is the perfect time to read this. It says, good fences make good neighbors, except when a scorching shared past makes things complicated. This delightful city meets country romance from Zuri Day. And it's just giving me and my boyfriend in a book. So let's just see how that goes. It says she's packing her bag and her baggage. 10 years ago, Genesis Washington made a very poor decision. At the time, it seemed great. But the truth is, your one-night stand rebound could never be your younger brother's arrival. And he definitely shouldn't be someone who allegedly slept with you to gain an upper hand, even if the sex was amazing. I think this is going to be so cute. He's a single dad. She's moving in next door. Like, they live in the country. She's probably not a country girl. So I think this is going to be so adorable. And I've never read anything by Zuri Day, so this is another reason why I picked this up. Now, I'm thinking we pick from the jar, because I only have 4 of the books that I want to talk about for June. So I think I'm gonna pick 1 or 2. This is being very ambitious, because last month I read 4 books and they were all like novellas. So let's go ahead and take, what does it say? What does it say? The Temporary Roomie. This is by Sarah Adams. Another romance. I know little about this book. I know that she is pregnant, and she does move into somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But it says, The Temporary Roomie, a witty, relatable romantic comedy about finding joy in unexpected ways with a never seen before chapter. No one said trade needed to be fair. Drew offers Jess a temporary place to stay, but with the catch, she must pretend to be his girlfriend for an upcoming work event. Out of options, Jessie braces for the worst as she moves in with her nemesis. I think that is going to be a lot of banter because moving in with your nemesis, like, girl, how could you do that? Playful territory worlds, absurd pranks, and their dynamic begins to shift. Jesse is thrown yet another curveball as Drew turns out to be nothing like what she expected, and even worse, he seems to like her too. When their rivalry sparks a deeper connection, Jesse's future becomes even more unclear. With the baby on the way, she has a decision to make soon. This is going to be so adorable, and it's blue. It goes with my other romances, so I cannot complain about that. On to our last TBR jar pick. This is just books that I've been sitting on my TBR for a while that, like, I really don't have my eye on, so I just felt like if I put the names in a jar and pick 1 or 2 a month, that will help get my physical TBR down. I don't know how that's gonna go, but fingers crossed it goes good. This is gonna be my first month trying this, but I hope we get something that's not a romance, you know. Alright, I don't even have this book anymore. This is the Marvelers. I actually donated this to a free little library, so we have to pick a game. Yeah, I don't have that book anymore. Last TBR jar pick. Why she all crumbled up? Give us the tea. How I Love to Kill You. Ooh. This is gonna be fun. Is it over here? Because you guys are sitting on books. Okay. So, the TBR jar picked How I Love to Kill You. This is, I think, like a romance thriller type book. It says your next day up all night thriller about identical triplets who have a nasty habit of killing their boyfriends and what happens when the youngest commits their worst crime yet, falling in love with her mark. Make him want you, make him love you, make him dead. I'm going to go into this blind because this book has been out for a while. It did get a revamped cover, which is this one. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how this is going to work. Is she going to have to kill her other sisters because she fell in love? Like, what's going to happen? Because I really don't read a lot of female serial killers. Which I want to change up. So I'm just trying to figure out how these triplets are going to pull this off and how they're going to feel about their sister falling in love. So I kind of want to go into this one blind. I'm pretty sure you heard about this book though. It was popular last year, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, How I Love to Kill You is our second pick from the TBR jar. Now for the last 3 books that I have on my June TBR. We have Blood Scion. I've had this on my shelves for probably like 2 or 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this came out in 2022 and I purchased it 2023. So I've had this on my TBR for 2 years now. This is a YA fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. It says 15-year-old Salome can be incinerated in enemy at will. She's a scion, a descendant of the ancient Orisha gods. Under the Lucas brutal rule, her identity means her death if her powers are revealed. But when she is forcibly constricted into Lucas's army on her 15th birthday, Salome sees a new opportunity to overcome the bloody challenges of Lucas's training and destroy them from within. I think this is going to be so cute. It's kind of giving me dystopian YA vibes. And I have not read a fantasy book in quite a while. So I'm excited to see. And I just wanted to get this off my shelves. I wanted to know what the hype was about. It is a duology, if I'm not mistaken. And the second book comes out in September. So I'm really excited to get into this one. Then we have Their Vicious Games. I read my first Joelle Wellington book in May. And I went to my nearest store to find her other books. And I want to kind of go into this blind because The Blonde Dies First. I rated that 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. But I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this. The back says, you must work twice as hard to get as half as much. This follows Nadine Walker. She is on a scholarship for like a prestigious uber rich kids school in New England. It says, but when she arrives at the finish, Adina gets the feeling that something isn't quite right with both Remington and her competition. And soon it becomes clear this is larger than life prize can only come at an even greater cost because the finishes Stakes aren't just make it or break it, they are life or death. She knows the deck is stacked against her, it has always been, but maybe the only way to survive their vicious games is for her to change the rules. So I've heard this is like Squid Game meets like a high school, college type of thing. So I'm really excited to see. I think this is her first book, but I could be mistaken. But I'm excited to see what Joelle Wellington has. She also has another book coming out in September that I want to read too. So I'm just going to start collecting her backlog. And last but not least, we have Mayfly. This was on my May TBR. I did not get to it. I got maybe 3 chapters in and got distracted by some novellas. This follows a serial killer who is a woman. She is a princess by day and serial killer by night. She also reads at the bar. It was just giving all the vibes that I'm trying to go for this Summerween. So I'm really excited, and the cover is just stunning. Okay, like if you do not know what Mayfly is, go look it up. It has good reviews on Goodreads. And I'm just really excited to get into it. This is an apocalyptic horror. This is a gory and brutal and beautiful and painful and terrifying and a pure delight. That was by Stephen Graham Jones. I love his writing style, but he make me feel dumb. So I'm hoping this doesn't do that. But so far, the 3 chapters that I did read, she's very funny. And I'm loving her as a main character and also being a serial killer. Like, you would expect women to be serial killers, but guess what? She is a serial killer. It says, untethered, Maeve ditches her disconnect act and tries on a new persona. A bolder, bloodier one inspired by the pages of American Psycho. Step aside, Patrick Batman. It's Maeve's turn with a knife. Mayfly is a proactive and unforgettable debut that is both a blood-soaked love letter to LA and a grateful send-up of iconic horror villains. And I just think this is going to be so fun. This is my June TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you guys did, do not forget to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace. We're out of here.